We proceed with the next speaker, Lia Vasconcelos. She's a professor also from the Department of Sciences and Environmental Engineering of NOVA, and she will give a talk on citizen scientists and scientist citizens. It's a very good title, merging citizen and scientific knowledge. Please, Lia, you have 12 minutes.
Thank you. So I'm going to start by sharing the screen. Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. Thank you for the invitation for being here. And so I'll be speaking about citizen scientists and scientist systems, merging citizen and scientific knowledge. And for start, I would like to remind you that quite often our decision-making process are dominated by the technical scientific knowledge. With the growing complexity of society, we are not frequently taking advantage of the knowledge disseminated in our society. So for that, we have to find new process, and one of them is to mobilize citizens and bring citizen knowledge to the decision-making process. And that's about that I'll be talking about. For that, I'll recur to a case study that was a project that I coordinated, that is a project for developing a model of collaborative governance for marine protected areas that could be replicated in areas. This project won the prize of Gulbenkian Foundation and the Oceanary of Lisbon, and was on the ground between 2008 and 2011. This project, the launching stage of the project, was a conflict between the park managers and the fishermen about the regulations that were issued for the marine protected area. So the proposal, the main objective of the project was trying to deconstruct the conflict and create a collective discourse among all the parts. For that, we started by defining more strongly the social objectives, because there were a lot of studies, so there were a lot of instrumental results, but the issue here was more social. So trying to solve and to put the people talking to each other again, what was very difficult because they were in opposition and they had radicalized the positions. While doing that, they also construct myths. That's the usual thing. And one of the things is during the process, we have to solve these myths. For example, one of the myths is that the fishermen complained that everybody said they were the ones responsible for the death of the fishes, but in fact, it was the pollution of the southwest area, that is the industrial area, that was really affecting the park. So then the scientists said, no, because the currents on the coast go south. So we had to brought, and that's the way we do when we work in these things, we had to brought to the process a scientist that was a specialist on coastal dynamics of the coastal dynamics, and he explained half of the year the currents are to the south, half the year they go to the south, to the north. So this was a way to solve this, and this didn't come back to the debates that we had collectively and the sessions, the participatory sessions that we have. And that's the way it has to be done. We have, one, to set up an agenda with everybody, all the stakeholders, not only the technical, scientific, and political arenas. And second, we have to be solving the myths, injecting information and knowledge along the process and allowing the ones there to discuss that knowledge and to exchange their own knowledge. So this was a quite complex project with lots of settings for dialogue. It involves stakeholders, policymakers, users, and the technical and scientific arenas. It has direct and indirect users, public entities. They are fishermen, tourist, maritime, and both recreation and drivers users, and the technical scientific arenas with managers, scientists, technicians, and others. So there were some structure the participatory process with different types of sessions depending on objective. But the most important of all were the open forums. That was the spinal cord of the project. And it was in the open forums where everyone that wanted to get involved came to the forums and discuss the issues and co-construct new options that were more consensual, okay? So during these 3 years, we led 19 open forums, 7 panels, 2 online interactions, 11 meetings and workshops with fishermen, and 2 final forums that finalized the whole process. During these forums, people were allowed to discuss issues, to bring their own knowledge and to construct new rules, more consensual and going in the direction particular matching the interest of the marine park managers and the fishermen. That was the most important issue. And during that process, they were able to identify that there was an institutional gap, and for that, they were able to propose a co-management model. This co-management model tried to overcome the gap, introducing a new structure that was a satellite structure of co-management, that one of them were the commercial fisheries, fishermen association, the touristic maritime, so all the groups that had a very strong connection with the sea. And it is this group, and it was these elements, the park management, the fishermen, the scientists, the municipality officers, the non-government organizations, the users of the park, that came together, and when the project ended in 2011, request the team to go on the ground working with them, because they thought there were still some rules that had to come to an agreement. And for that, we stayed with them between 2012 and 2014. So it was a long process. In 2014, there was some change in the directive boards of the park and of our Institute of Natural Conservancy. And they invited this group that was still working to become the C group for a consulting group for the strategic board of the park. So it gained a mandate to be the consulting group for the sea of the Marine Park Strategic Council. And it operates since 2015 in that situation. So there was an institutionalization of the process. Why was that? Because during the whole process, there was intellectual capital, knowledge that was built, social capital that was built, and political capital in the sense of influence and community identity that was also built. For the success of such a process, there were at least 3 elements that were key. One is to build a collective agenda. The agenda cannot be the technical, scientific, and political agenda. It had to be the agenda of the stakeholders that will be involved in the whole process. Second was to assure knowledge equity. All the knowledge were as important as the technical scientific knowledge, and they had their own role. This is important because in complex settings, this is what makes the difference. And finally, we work with drafts, co-constructing the drafts and the work that people develop along the process, making it more complete and more finalized as the process advanced. So what was key for the involvement and the bringing to the table of citizen knowledge was that participants listen to the other's knowledge, they articulate that knowledge, and they jointly build new knowledge. So the process allowed to amplify the voice of citizens, encompassing citizen knowledge in the decision-making process. To finalize, I leave you with the words of Ostrom, the only woman that won the prize, the Nobel Prize in economics. And what she says is establishing trust and establish a sense of community are mechanisms for solving the problem of supplying new institutions. Thank you very much. Hello, Luciano, I'm not listening.
Thank you very much, Lia, for your contribution. And Luciano, we should proceed. Now, don't forget to put your questions on the chat. So we'll try to address the questions to the different speakers. So